unfamiliar path with a pulse of its own.
3, 2, 1.
Final Encounter Cast. Interesting conflicts, not conflicts of interest.
Typical corporate bullshit.
With your hosts, Nate, Robbie, Chris, Nika, and Callie. FinalEncounterCast.com.
Ready? Get set? Go!
What is up? Welcome to Final Encounter Cast. Thank you so much for joining us this Sunday afternoon. If you're listening on the podcast and you want to listen live, you can do so over at twitch.tv/Final Encounter Cast. Start at 5 o'clock here on Sundays. It's 5 o'clock Eastern. We invite you to join us and call the show live. It's a live call-in talk show. Final Encounter Cast on Skype. 810-207-1764 is how that gets done. Welcome to the show. We're going to be talking about some E3 predictions. We'd love to hear what your predictions are. Again, call us. Final Encounter Cast on Skype. 810-207-1764. Glad to have you guys along.
You know what my favorite part of today's show is already?
What's that?
It's so much roomier in here.
It really is. You know, and I mean, it does get just as hot. I don't think it gets as hot as quickly as it does with an additional body in the studio. But, you know, we do have an air conditioner in here that we run in between shows. It's why, you know, it's one of the reasons that we take a big break in between shows is to let this place kind of cool off. But it doesn't really do a whole lot for the smell. It still stinks in here.
No, we'd have to get rid of Christoph for that.
Yeah.
I put on deodorant between the shows.
He also changes underwear.
Thank God.
Yeah.
Which
Thank God.
That actually impresses me. I didn't realize that's something you do.
Well, like, I discovered that very early on that
You know, I don't know if we really need to know this. Is this something we really absolutely need to know?
that clean underwear feels so much better than putting on sweaty underwear
Well, no.
again.
Okay, obviously, yeah. That's a given.
Well,
That and the rash is gone now.
God damn it.
we do have a shower that you could use. You know,
I've actually considered that.
well, because I mean, you know, I've got my own shower, and then we have the peasant shower, so you can feel free to use that whenever you want.
Is that the same way you feel about your toilet, too?
It is absolutely the same
Because
way.
whenever any of these guys go into the bathroom, I use your toilet. I don't know if you're aware of that.
No.
Oh.
Although it's probably slightly more disgusting because like less people use it, and so I'm not cleaning it as regularly as the other one is.
I can tell.
Yeah.
There's that big giant thing of constipation medicine too.
Yes, there is. Yep, the Miralax. Oh, yeah. That is necessary when you eat as much red meat and cheese as I do. It's a good diet. It keeps me looking so horrendously fat, as you can see on camera. Anyway.
Greatest conversation ever.
Thank you guys for joining us. Again, we're going to be talking about E3, and also we're going to be wishing Kooky Persona well on her way to E3. She's going to be going out to E3 and covering some stuff for Limit Break Radio and Final Encounter Cast.
Did I just blow your mind?
So we will have representation out at this year's E3. We do also have some plans to be restreaming the live streamed events because Twitch has given permission for all channels to restream E3 events. So we're going to do that as a part of Final Encounter Cast. If you'd like to hear some of our commentary, then make sure you tune in on E3 day here to twitch.tv/Final Encounter Cast. We haven't taken a head count of who's going to be here and available to do that, but we may actually do some E3 coverage maybe instead of doing a show next week.
That might be best.
I think it might be. I mean, it happens over the weekend. Most of the stuff is going to be happening Saturday, and I know that I'm spoken for at least part of my Saturday. So we're going to see what we can organize. It's a little bit last minute, but Kooky is going to be heading out to E3 for us, and we're super excited to check out all of the announcements and see what kind of exclusive exclusive she can nab from the show floor. And then, coming in future years, I think we're going to make a concerted effort at trying to get some hosts out there as well. So now that's something that's in the cards for this channel, that's something that we want to take advantage of for sure. And, that's thanks to you guys and your help growing the channel here at twitch.tv/Final Encountercast and at finalencountercast.com. And we want to thank you. And we've made a couple of mentions about this, and we're going to make another one that coming soon, lbrnetwork.com. And we don't want to talk about it too much, but we've had some groundwork laid for that website, and we're excited that we're going to be unifying our 3 shows in a meaningful manner. And the thing is that
I can't wait for Unification Day.
We could call it Third Impact.
Well, I'm actually, you know what? Kudos to you. That's not a reference I would have expected out of you.
That was a little bit surprising.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be
Good job, Nate.
And here's the thing. Here's the thing is, we want to make sure to mention this, and this is kind of an exclusive here to Final Encountercast, is that the LBR in LBR Network does not stand for Limit Break Radio.
What?
Yeah.
What?
So that's going to be an announcement that you can look forward to coming soon here on Final Encountercast. We'll have more info about that on Final Encountercast. And, of course, Limit Break Radio will be an extension of the LBR network. So I'm excited. I think we've got a really good name here, and I can't wait to show you guys.
And if you were a Patreon and you've seen Green Room videos...
Maybe you already know.
You might already know.
You might already know.
You might already know.
Have a little insider scoop there.
That's right. And if you want the insider scoop, you can check that out over at patreon.com/limitbreakradio. We didn't have a Green Room video last week. We won't have a Green Room video again this week because
thanks, Callie.
No Callie. Obviously, we are missing Callie and Nika from our crew today.
Well, we're not quite missing them. They're just not here, and we're thankful for that. For every contribution that they do of not being here.
So
we do still have Pops though, which, by the way, arms to yourself. Your elbow keeps poking into Nate's cam, and that is not your cam to poke into.
I'll stay over on the side
your
of the room.
finger is now poking into my cam.
That's different because that, first of all, that looks cool.
Dan, what's the difference between poking now and poking later?
I am a host, and he's a dirty intern.
Well, also, we don't have a camera for him. Someone said, no, Pops doesn't get a camera. No, Pops doesn't get a camera. He's lucky. He's lucky to get a goddamn microphone.
If we had the technology, lucky. I would have him bleeped out on the studio cam there. Just get like the black block or even like just the blurry
pixelated
image. There you go. Yeah, pixelate him.
Pixelated bukkake.
That's right.
What?
All over the place.
This is getting weird.
Yeah, it sure is. Anyway, all right. So instead of continuing it for it to be weird, that was a weird way to say that. Anyway, let's just check out what's going on in the news.
I'm here to do the news tonight.
And that's the way the news goes.
Ladies and gentlemen, we interrupt this program to bring you important news.
Here's a story that's out of this world.
That's right. With no Callie here, that means that I'm back on the news desk. So, to start it off, remember way back when we talked about a Snapchat filter that told you how fast you were going?
No.
Well, the inevitable has happened. A Georgian teen is now facing criminal charges as she rear-ended another vehicle while using the app. Among the charges are reckless driving, super speeder, driving too fast for conditions, and serious injury by vehicle, a felony charge.
I did
super speeder?
Super speeder.
That sounds awesome.
I know. I kind of want that charge now.
Is that like what the app is called? Filter super speeder.
I seriously, that is an amazing charge. I would love for that to be on my goddamn record.
Now, Nate, I know that after we covered this on one of our last episodes, you and our friend Samus had a lengthy discussion about it behind doors.
Right.
About this whole idea. Now, you're against the idea, or maybe for the idea that the people who made the app, well, maybe obviously they shouldn't be held directly responsible, that they maybe had some type of moral ground that, like, should you really have included that in your app?
I don't think, not maybe from a moral standpoint. I think it's like a common sense standpoint. And my whole thing was that Snapchat should remove the feature because the potential for someone to try to hold them accountable is bad for their company.
At the very least.
Yeah. And so, I don't really care whether or not it's a thing or not.
Obviously, when it comes down to it, you have no feelings.
Right. And if people want to use something irresponsibly, they can find any number of things to use irresponsibly. But I feel like it's just a huge liability for the company to take on.
Yeah. Now, I didn't follow you in Samus's, argument or discussion that closely, but do you think that this might change his mind in any way?
Well, no, because the person who was directly responsible for the accident is the one who's being held responsible in the court of law.
All right.
If they were trying to hold Snapchat responsible, if they were trying to sue Snapchat...
Snoo.
Well, that is what goes on Snapchat, let's be honest with you. But if that's...
Wait, what?
If they were...
Snoods.
Oh, snoods?
Nudes.
Snoods.
We can call them snoods.
Okay.
Snapchat nudes are called snoods.
Okay.
Wait,
it is known.
That is now a new term that we have introduced into the culture.
First.
Snoods.
You're
yes.
welcome.
Yeah. When you ask for pics on Snapchat, you have to ask for snoods now.
Yes. In fact, if you just say, send me snoods, they'll know that you want them via Snapchat.
Yeah. This is great.
Okay.
See, we add things to culture all the time.
You're welcome.
Screenshots of Liberty City and GTA's 5 engine have surfaced. GTA fans of all installments are insane over these.
They're going sane. Holy shit, guys!
I am so
Be careful! Everyone's going sane.
But now, why is this such a big deal? It's because the images have traced back to an online portfolio of one Adrian Page, who just so happens to share a name with an artist at Rockstar Games.
Oh, dun
Could
dun dun
this
dun!
be foreshadowing for possible Liberty City related DLC, or just an artist having some fun in his off time?
I am really hoping that this is an indication that they are working on Vice City right now.
Like as a remake?
Yeah, not as a remake, no, but
Or the next installment will be in Vice City.
It will be set in Vice City.
Oh,
Yes,
that'd be so fun.
That's exactly what I'm hoping for. And because, they went back to Liberty City with 4, they went back to San Andreas with 5, and to go back to Vice City for 6 only makes sense. So once they have that trifecta complete, they've done those 3 cities so many times, they've got to change it up. I would love to go anywhere else in the Grand Theft Auto universe after this, but you know what? Vice City was the best out of the 3 of the PlayStation 2 era, and man, would I love to see that done in a modern era.
It was my first GTA. It was so much fun.
3 was definitely my first GTA, but goddamn was Vice City so well refined from GTA 3.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with you. Yep, 3 was my first one, and Vice City was probably the best. With
do
the release,
they have a GTA Flint City?
No, well, I've been saying that
it could feature zombies that drink poison
water.
water.
I've been saying that they should do a game based on Detroit for forever, and if they did, they could have a place you drive to the north that would be Flint, and it would just be poison water and
zombies.
Just a shittier version of
poison
Detroit.
water. Yeah, well, yeah.
with the release of the newest X-Men movie, one billboard ad of Apocalypse holding Mystique by the throat with the words, "Only the strong will survive," has people up in arms as the billboard has domestic violence undertones. To which I say, duh.
Yeah.
Like you could just remove the domestic and be like violence undertones.
Violent undertones.
Why did Fox need to apologize for this?
It was dumb for them to do that.
Yeah. In fact, what I would have liked...
Was it dumb? Well, was it dumb for them to apologize, or was it? Are you saying that it was dumb for them to make the billboard?
They should have apologized.
I don't think they should have either. I don't think they should have taken the billboards down, and I don't think that they should have apologized.
I think what they should have done is instead use this as a springboard to draw more awareness for it. Because to me, by apologizing, what you're saying is, oh, I reminded you of a problem that you'd rather forget and pretend doesn't exist.
I mean, yeah, I guess I could see that at some point, but also it is. I mean, like, we're talking, they're blue superheroes. Like, if that's a trigger, if you don't have the emotional capabilities to see something like that and impose that on yourself, I don't, man. That's ridiculous.
I don't know about you, but I personally identify with being blue-skinned.
Do you?
Don't you?
You don't look very blue to me.
I take very much offense to that.
You're not. We're looking right at you. You are the opposite of blue.
If we make him sad enough, he might turn blue. Your mother doesn't love you.
You're not Tobias Bluth, okay?
I already knew that.
Oh, okay. Did she end up canceling on you that one weekend?
No, she didn't.
Oh, okay.
You sounded disappointed.
No,
she didn't.
I'm indignant. She gave me this awesome shirt.
Oh. Yes.
Which is why she does love me.
If you're a fan
he has a T-shirt to prove
it. My mom loves me, and I got this T-shirt as proof. If you're a fan of Metal Gear Solid, rejoice, as MGS Portable Ops and Portable Ops Plus is now available if you've got a PlayStation Vita and PlayStation TV.
Now, actually, there's something that I want to clarify. So, this is interesting. First of all, because it's not listed as a new release on the actual PlayStation Store. So, and there's been no official update to say that it's been available. So it's been sort of like made shadow available. Now, this has happened. This has happened once before with a collection of other games. There was a whole bunch of games that were not available to be downloaded, even downloaded through the store onto the PS Vita. And in fact, even when you downloaded them to a PlayStation 3 and used a transfer cable, they still wouldn't run on a PlayStation Vita. And in the couple of days that Portable Ops was available, before they took it back off the PlayStation Store, you could download it, and that version that you downloaded ran on the Vita. I have it. I've played through.
I remember us talking about this.
I've played through it. Now, because it's not listed as a download through, like it's not listed on the new releases, and it was sort of made shadow available, there's some speculation that they may end up pulling it again. Ooh. So if this is a game that you have already bought, I would recommend downloading it and downloading it soon. And the other thing is I can confirm, because I downloaded it to my PlayStation TV, that it does not work on the PlayStation TV. So you can download it through the store on the PlayStation TV, but the app itself, the game itself, will not run on the PlayStation TV. I don't want to delete it from my Vita and then download it again only to have it find that it doesn't work, or else I would have done that experiment myself. But there is speculation that this may be an error, so just so you know.
Arrested Development references hashtag and El Repes Kappa.
Okay. Well, I'll try to work in as many Arrested Development references as I can. I don't watch a lot of
Banana Stand.
There you go. Okay, that's good. Good enough.
Bananakin.
Shut up.
Speaking of Metal Gear Solid, we all knew this was coming. We've joked about it. Some of us have cried about it. And perhaps rather than tell you, it's best to just show you.
Okay. I guess this is the video here.
Yep.
I have not seen this. Just so you know.
This is for the pachinko machine.
Oh, good.
And Nika's pretty hyped about it. I don't know how she's ever planning on playing it, but she's pretty hyped about it, apparently. And I can now see also why, gambling machines and stuff like that are so immensely popular in Japan, is because they have quite a bit of production behind them.
Well, have you been to a casino recently? So do slot machines. They've got no shortage of production to them too.
Not to this level.
I don't know. Some of them do.
Just give it a second. This
is horrible. This is just horrible. I'm horrified by this.
Good. This is somewhat what I feel whenever anyone brings up the frickin' Final Fantasy VII Remake. Feel my pain, except this is even worse. Look at that. It's beautiful.
I know. It's really really well done.
Don't you want to play that game?
No, because I know what this is.
Looks so wow!
HDs.
That looks better. Is that better graphics than Metal Gear Solid? Was it 5?
It's pretty much on par.
The pain. The fear.
Look at all those definitions.
I'm gonna
they are high.
The end.
I'm gonna say that this is probably a pretty good indication. If they're using it for a pachinko machine, they're gonna turn this into a game. They're gonna.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah. Yeah.
You think you might get an actual game born out of this?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, honey.
So you say, I'm not sure if he's serious or if these are just some type of desperate plea born from the aching heart of man.
I would rather see this. I would rather see a team from Konami take up an old Metal Gear Solid game before trying to make a new one. If they're gonna, I mean, look, I've talked so much shit about the current Konami team trying to make a new Metal Gear Solid. I mean,
Snake Eater.
You guys know that I think that would be a fucking disaster. But if they went back and tried to remake an older version of Metal Gear Solid and got the formula right first, then I could that
might be better to catapult them into a new one,
and it might warm previous fans to the series a little bit more. I mean, you did say that Nika got hype about it, and she did. I have not been hype about it. I still think it's stupid, but I think that Konami being Konami and wanting money, that they're gonna make a game out of this. It's the only series that they're committed to making games of anymore.
Well, let's hope for your sake.
For my sake, I don't care. I have already
checked out.
Yeah, I
feel like 5 was the end for me. It's fine.
If it happened to be good, maybe I would play it, down the road. Mm-hmm. But it's I've checked out, and this is just fucking the corpse right here, turning it into a goddamn pachinko machine.
Such a great metaphor.
It really is.
Well, as it turns out, exposing people to things they fear in a controlled virtual environment will not help you overcome those fears. One reviewer over at Kotaku tried to play a game called Arachnophobia and only made it to level 5. Even then, he wasn't wearing his headset half the time and is still afraid of spiders.
They obviously just didn't do it long enough. It's like you have to
continue
exposure. You should have to keep them in that box or whatever for 5, 10.
Looking at the game,
months,
you're sitting at your desk with what it looks like your hands are just glued to the desk, and you just perform various office tasks, and the levels give you more and more spiders. So at first it's just one spider under a glass jar. Then the spider's allowed to wander, and then they start adding more spiders. And first of all, who would come up with a game like this?
Maybe he should have watched the movie first.
I think it's supposed to be exposure therapy.
Well, yeah. Apparently it didn't work for this guy.
Okay, but do the spiders feel on you? I don't...
No, but you know what? Sometimes people who have real legitimate fears of spiders don't need to actually feel it. Just seeing pictures of them makes their skin crawl. And they feel it. Then they feel it.
I was just trying to find it. There was a thing that I saw on Facebook, and this was not long ago, but it was a video that someone put on Facebook, and it looks like a normal video, but there's a spider on top of it. And you hit play, and then the spider moves. And then right after that animation finishes, it cuts to video of people watching that happen on their phones, and then just throwing their phones like someone throws it into a fucking pool. You know what I mean? People freak out, and that's an animated, a very convincing, cleverly animated spider on a phone.
You have to realize that people's brains are really fucking weird things. There are people that I know who's afraid of spiders. I can go like this. Look, there's nothing in my hand. Hold yours out now. And they refuse to.
Yeah.
Because in their brains, I don't know how the fuck you did it, but there's a spider in there now.
Oh my god. Is that Schrodinger's spider? The spider's both in your hand and out of your hand?
Oh god.
Moving on.
Waiting for the crickets.
We're living in an
Schrodinger
age...
spider?
That's what I just said.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
We're living in an age...
Not paying attention. Did you say it correctly? Did you pronounce it right?
He kind of mumbled it.
Okay.
And, jumbled his words.
Schrodinger's spider.
Yeah. Okay.
We're living...
You need to say things better.
This is bullshit.
Just stick to your drops, buddy. Maybe we should give your cam to Papa. We're living in the age of reboots in Hollywoods and remakes in the gaming industry. With the insane hype that's been following the Final Fantasy VII remake, GAG, it should come as no surprise that when Chrono Trigger director Takashi Tokita mentioned a remake, everyone went nuts. How do you feel, Nate?
Here's my Final Fantasy VII. This really is. I'm like, don't touch it. Don't touch it. You don't need to touch it. It doesn't need anything. It's perfect. It really is. See, the thing is...
But wait, hold on. Think about it. Think about fighting as Chrono in 3D.
I'm not interested.
But it has like the Kingdom Hearts control scheme. So you
Oh,
actually just
no.
like,
Oh,
you just,
I
like,
know.
action
Right.
button the
no,
fuck
even
out
best,
of Ultra.
even
Sorry,
better,
it
even
is
better.
how-
No,
yeah.
no, fuck that. Because there is one thing that could make it better: voice acting.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Come on.
Nope.
You're telling me that you don't want Kiefer Sutherland to voice Chrono?
No, I honestly,
I could voice Chrono.
I have had games.
Dinklage in there.
I've had games ruined for me by voice acting. You know what I mean? Like there's some voice acting where it makes it. I mean, 10 was FF10. You're playing through FF10 right now.
Mm-hmm.
The voice acting in that is still a bit rough. It's pretty.
It's more than passable though.
It's evident. It's evident of the best quality work that could have been done
At the time?
At the time,
Sure.
yeah, because voice acting was still relatively new
on that scale.
Yeah, although the first Metal Gear Solid blew it out of the water, and that was an original PlayStation game.
Taser Smurf, obviously, I've never played the game. I don't care if Chrono never talked.
And the thing is I don't think that that game would benefit from any kind of voice acting whatsoever. I really, really don't. See, the thing is, and especially
But what about having like Robo talk in a robot voice? Thank you
Better
for
yet.
saving me, Luca.
Better yet,
I will use Robo Punch.
what if we get the same people? What if we get the same?
Is that a robot fist? Is that what that was?
Fisting, all right.
It was
Can we see it again? Can we get a close up of him and he do that again for us, please?
Come on,
go ahead, show us.
That seems distinctly sexual. You can. This is gonna just keep going like this, isn't it?
out of MP.
Okay.
Hopefully they'll get in contact with the Disgaea people and get them to do the voiceover work.
God, that would be the worst. It really would. But here's the thing about the Chrono series, and I've said this before, I would be much more interested in them continuing on the franchise, especially in the way that they carried it on between Chrono Trigger and Chrono Cross. If they if they said, we're going to make a new Chrono game and it's going to use something similar to the Kingdom Hearts control style, I think that would be okay.
All right, well, let me ask you this. Let me riddle you this, Nate.
Okay.
Nate man.
Yeah.
All right, obviously, the FF7 remake is happening, so I've been having to find ways to cope and to come with terms with it, right? Now, like you, I've always thought that when it comes to expanding the universe, like new games or showing us new stuff, that's fine, okay? I'm all for that, okay?
Right.
As much as people hated Dirge of Cerberus and Advent Children, I thought they were both fine.
Oh my gosh, a
Please shut
shooter with Luca.
Can we mute him? Is that okay?
Yeah.
All right, excellent. All right, so what I am looking forward to is them being able to expand on certain elements, all right? Playing back through 7 right now, there are actually some things that I think they could have done a lot better, and I've now seen that a lot of people are like, well, what about blah, blah, blah? Like most people who don't have as much of an interest in it as I do didn't get certain things because either they missed it, maybe they only played through it one time, and the remake, obviously it's going to be a lot longer because the whole episodic thing is going to give them more time to make better use of certain plot lines or certain hooks and, give certain aspects of characters' background more exposure, right? So does that kind of idea in any way change your mind for a potential remake?
No, it really is. Like, I feel like that game is sort of where you feel FF7 is really perfectly tuned. I think that Chrono Trigger is sort of like a perfect game, and there's really not much that you can even do with it.
When was the last time you played it?
In college, working at the desk. It was one of those games that I played overnight, and I that's the thing, is that I had such a good time with it, whereas I didn't with other SNES titles that I tried to, because it was a very limited computer that was down there. We were down there 24/7. Somebody had to be at that desk at all hours, and I took a lot of the 4 a.m. to 7 a.m. shifts, so I was there when nobody else was there, and you had to find ways to keep yourself awake.
Absolutely.
And after a while, we we weren't allowed to bring down our computer towers
Thanks,
anymore.
Larry.
Yeah, nice job, ass. And so we had to go to, we had to use emulators.
Yeah.
And so, playing SNES games was really that, or like Flash games, like Java games and stuff like that, were really the only options for entertainment. And there was nothing else that I played that captured me like Chrono Trigger.
I would be interested in seeing you replay that on stream, because having people watch me play Final Fantasy and having some of the questions they ask makes you look at it in a different light. Like, for example, a lot of people had no idea that Tifa and Cloud got together. Like, they were completely blown away by that. Yeah.
Really?
Yep.
Interesting.
Yep. So there's some things that in your mind are obviously very concrete, right?
Right.
The majority of people might have completely glossed over that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I would be open to it, but I think I've committed to doing one of the Souls games on stream first. So I think I'm going to start that this week.
Cool.
If you guys want to tune in at twitch.tv/Final Encountercast, where you are right now, hit that follow button if you're just joining us for the first time. So, all right, what else we got?
Well, as it turns out, rhythm sim games that put you in the spotlight and let you shred like the legends of yore no longer hold the same sway they used to. Rock Band 4 publisher Mad Catz has reported a net loss of $11.7 million, thanks to the colossal failure of its most recent iteration.
How do you fuck up Rock Band?
Oh, you're still muted, aren't you?
Dick.
That's fun. Good job.
Didn't this
what did you
genre
say?
die a few years ago? I mean, it was good 10 years ago at least, but I haven't had a good game in many years.
Because it's all just the exact same fucking thing.
It really is. Yeah, I mean...
Except what? You're going to want to put new songs in it, right? But once you've used up all the classics,
it was a game that didn't... Like, the only updates that it needed were newer instruments that were more finely tuned for, like, the expert modes.
Yep.
Then once you had that, all you needed was DLC to permanently support that game for all of time.
The rest of forever.
Yes.
If you go on PlayStation, you see all those new songs out there already.
Yeah.
I mean, but nobody plays it.
Yeah, no.
It's the same shit.
That genre is dead to dead. So.
Yep. Great. Well, the highly anticipated No Man's Sky, an indie game with insanely high expectations, has been delayed by 2 months. The internet has responded in a way that only the internet could have thought to, with death threats.
Thank you kindly.
The Twitter account for Hello Games owner tweeted in jest that no one should worry, his house is now armed to the teeth, a la Home Alone.
Oh, good.
With paint cans?
I guess.
And
hey,
and tiny little
flamethrowers,
dude.
Tar.
There were some pretty gruesome ones. Like, the tar and the nail.
Yeah,
stepping on the nail.
That was bad.
Oh, come on, man.
Or
being electrocuted to death.
Having a hot iron, like slammed on your forehead.
Kevin
I mean, that iron was on.
Kevin was a psychopath.
Yeah, he really was. He really was.
He was going up against Joe Pesci, for crying out loud.
The superheated door handle.
Oh my god.
Oh man.
Lobbing bricks at them from the top of the building.
Yes.
That would kill a person.
It really would. That would have smashed his skull in.
These people come and try to, enact these death threats, and all they do is play that same video that Kevin played.
That's. I think we've just recalled all of the Home Alone traps.
There you go. You're welcome.
All right, now you don't have to watch the movie.
We did that by accident in a bit. This is why you listen to Final Encountercast.
Yeah. But I mean, look. No Man's Sky. I know that there's a lot of hype about it. All right, but like the article says, it's an indie game. And the stuff they're promising is stuff that you would expect out of, like, huge AAA developers, right? If you want them to give it right, get them all the fucking time that they need.
Well, let's be clear. They're doing something that developers are not doing, and they're doing procedurally generated content, which is not something that AAA gaming is even pushing. So, I mean, come on. Let's set our expectations to at least fucking reasonable here.
We're pretty butthurt about it.
Good job, gaming community.
One Reddit user has found out that if you put the track Cyber Demon from the new Doom reboot through a spectrogram program, the song will be represented with pentagrams and repeating 666s.
Yes!
How fucking cool is that?
What's a spectrogram?
I don't know. Can you explain this to us, our audiomancer?
Yeah. So you can, in certain programs like Adobe Audition, and I think they may have taken this out after a while. But you can convert any sound that you have into what is called a spectrogram. And that, I'm not sure what the different colors exactly represent, but you can edit it like you can with other sound files, and you can do it in a visual pattern. So you can hide shit in spectrograms. So this is a technique that's been used a lot with alternate reality games. If you have a hint that is, that you're giving an audience, and it sounds like nonsense or garbled audio or something, a lot of people will run it through a spectrogram analysis and be able to find specific
clues within there.
Yes.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Either images, symbols, or something. I mean, you can do it even like if you want to say a specific message too.
I was going to say, does a song have to actually sound a certain way for that to happen, or you can just make your song and then edit the images into the spectrogram?
It will create sound specific to that, but a lot of times it's using subsonic frequencies and hypersonic frequencies that we can't pick up, or it's creating additional noise. Most audio, when it's represented on a spectrogram, is it's very low to the bottom. Any of the audible spectrograph part of it is very much toward the bottom, and what they do is they will edit the sub and hyper frequencies, and it really doesn't end up impacting the audio that drastically.
Oh, interesting.
Sometimes you can, though. I mean,
right.
I'd be interested to hear what the song sounded like, because I'd be interested to know if they took whatever that spectrogram was and layered it over top of an already made piece of audio, and that made piece of audio doesn't drastically affect the messages in the spectrogram.
Yeah. Okay.
Could we make a spectrogram of this podcast that just says dicks over and over and over again?
That's what the birds say in the background.
If you put those birds into a spectrogram, it's just dicks.
You could, yeah, in theory you could, but it would end up making additional noise wherever you put it. I mean, there's the possibility.
That would drive Nate insane.
It really would. I do
Mind blown.
I really do everything that I can to remove all of the background noise from
and Chris wants to throw some in.
from when this show becomes a podcast.
For the sake of dicks.
Is that not the best reason?
It is a good reason. I'll give you that.
Okay, thank you.
Nintendo has recently confirmed that the new iteration of its beloved franchise, Pokemon Sun and Moon, would be supported in both simplified and traditional Chinese. However, due to localization issues, if this goes forward, most Pokemon would be seeing a change in their names. Pikachu, for example, in Cantonese would end up as Pikachu.
I've heard people are freaking out about this.
Well, yeah, because imagine like all of your most beloved characters now have completely different names. Imagine if Metal Gear Solid 6 came out and suddenly you were playing as Sulad Snake.
You play as a
salad snake.
Salad snake.
Salad snake. I've heard gaseous snake. That was a pretty good one, but salad snake.
He just throws tomatoes at everyone.
That is a new one. Holy shit!
Where does he keep the cucumber?
He's got infinite summer ripe tomatoes.
Instead of tranquilizer dots, they're just filled with ranch dressing.
With E3 on the
horizon. What about
horizon.
French dressing?
French.
He has the ability to combine dressings, and he takes ranch and French dressing, and it becomes French dressing.
Canon.
Now we have, it's canon. That's where the origin of your French comes from.
Okay, that makes a little bit more sense.
You're welcome.
He delivers the salad to you late, right before the main course. He's like, kept you waiting, huh?
Motherfucker.
That's a good one, Nate. I'm not giving that one to you. I'm not letting you have that one. It's
you can
too
have
good.
it.
With E3 on the horizon, Microsoft is offering a special Xbox One deal where you can get the 500 gigabyte bundle for only $299.
Oh, wow. They have the Xbox One now? When did they have that?
Apparently, it comes after the 360.
Because Microsoft knows how to count.
Yep. Even though Lionhead Studios is gone forever, a handful of ex-Fable developers have taken...
A moment of silence for Lionhead Studios. Never mind, because nobody cares.
Have taken one of their former team's last projects to Kickstarter. Fable Fortune, an online TCG in the same vein as Hearthstone and Magic the Gathering.
Just stop.
I'm sure that... What could possibly go wrong?
Well, they're looking to take the best things of all the current like awesome TCGs
because that always works,
and making them better. Such as the one thing that we actually talked about Hearthstone having
microtransactions.
The idea that two PC players could play against like one AI like boss player.
Oh, okay, so that's smart.
They're also talking about certain cards that would be like used like all around, that you would always have in your deck, having like leveling up properties. So the more you use them, the stronger they get.
Oh, great. So before I can play with like an extra good card, I have to play with it for 8 hours until it becomes like a reasonable card. Great idea, guys.
Yeah, well,
stupid dicks.
And I'm really sorry that Callie isn't here for this one, but The Sims is joining the 21st century as the creators have released a free content patch that allows players to customize their Sims in any way they like. Previously, certain clothing, hair, styles, walks, and voices were specifically locked to certain sexes. Now they are completely customizable, so you can make whatever gender you like. How insensitive of you.
That was poorly timed.
Poorly timed.
Yeah.
And insensitive.
I'm
calling Brianna Wu right now.
Okay.
Well, of all the things you can customize, can you customize their genitals too?
I don't know.
I mean, they've taken the restrictions off of hair and clothing, but I mean, like,
do the Sims have genitals?
No, they have blurry parts. But if I wanted to make a mess of those blurry parts surgically, is that possible?
Like, put two blurry parts down there?
Just put a mess down there. Just a surgical nightmare.
How do you know if it is or isn't? Because it's blurred.
I don't know. That's for the creators to figure out. That's a creative decision that I can't figure out. But I want full representation of all of my genders, goddammit.
Pixelated and otherwise.
Yes. You know what? It's got to include the junk. You got to include the junk.
Okay.
You can't just be opening everything up willy-nilly. You got to be specific, and you got to include the junk.
Taylor Smurf says they do have boobs.
That's a gendered term, he. Anyway.
Keeping to their word, less than a week after its official launch, Blizzard has banned thousands of Overwatch players. Reports have stated that nearly 7 million players have already joined the world of Overwatch, but not everyone is coming back. One Reddit user mentions that he bought the game a second time after being banned, played without cheating, and within the day was banned again.
Follow the rules.
And a third time after attempting to erase and reset anything related to his IP address. He was banned again.
Good. Get fucked, you cheater.
Owned.
Blizzard is not fucking around.
No, they're not. And good. Good
Yes.
on them. Because you can't have a game that's this successful and then not enforce this shit.
Game over.
I mean, we've already, I saw people talking earlier about Overwatch aimbots that are not being enforced on. And it's like, at some point, that Blizzard's going to crack down.
Get 'em.
They're being aggressive.
Yep. And to think, like, that dude paid $120 to play a week worth of Overwatch.
Wah, wah. Sucker.
Get good.
In an effort to combat sexism in video games, the government of France is looking to offer financial incentive to video game companies that promote women in a positive light in their games.
Okay. Good.
That's cool, I guess.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's cool. Well, but I mean, like, what notable games come out of France?
The Witcher comes from Poland.
Ubisoft.
That's not France.
I know. That's the only. I'm just saying. I know that.
Ubisoft is French Canadian.
I think so.
Here's the other thing you have to keep in mind. When we think of games, we obviously think of like big giant publishers, right? But what about small, indie gamers? I mean, I'm sure that they would also qualify for this type of stuff, right?
So should we go move to France and then be an indie game developer and just pump out shitty games that put women in a positive light and just rack in the government funds?
Yeah.
Is that what we should do?
Sounds like a good idea. Sounds like a solid plan.
Okay, you get on that.
Is it a solid plan or a salad plan?
Damn it.
Oh boy.
Oh boy, indeed. Following the commercial success of their shooter MMO-like game, The Division, Ubisoft has cast Jake Gyllenhaal to star in a movie based on the game. Gyllenhaal has also starred in the live film adaptation of The Prince of Persia. Now, you want to know what my biggest problem with this is?
That The Division is considered a success?
The fact that the Division movie is just going to be a fucking police movie. What about The Division makes it, special?
I have no idea. I played 5 minutes of that game and I went, there's nothing that makes this game special, and I turned it off.
Yeah, it's just another Tom Clancy movie, okay?
Yeah.
Go watch SWAT. That might as well be The Division. What the fuck?
I
mean, Jake Gyllenhaal's cool and all.
I don't know.
I hope they put a scene in the movie where a guy's just standing in front of the door and no one can get by him.
or at some point, I want to see somebody teabagging somebody else.
Do movies not have that? I feel like every movie should have that.
You'd think, but they don't. Not the kind of movies that our people are probably watching.
There's like a big crisis that happens in The Division, so maybe it's something that's
like
set
based
before
around
then,
that.
Before then, or something. I don't know.
Maybe.
It's I honest to God, I got like pissed off that game got so much hype because I honestly I could not pick out one special thing about that game the entire time I played it.
Okay, so how old is The Division?
So
it came out this year.
Would you?
So they think that this is worthy of a fucking movie already?
Apparently.
Oh, guys, honey.
I know.
Come on.
It's almost like the people who love it and hate it are divided. Because Division. Get it? The spiritual successor to Silent Hill and PT has been canceled. Details are still slim right now, with the official Twitter account dropping the bomb and promising a statement in the days to come. This is now the second Silent Hill related game to be
canceled. Yeah.
Silent Hills was it going to be called? The one that
the PT. Yeah.
That
is PT. Yeah. That was the Kojima.
Yeah.
Guillermo del Toro, co-developed by Konami.
That with Daryl Dixon was going to be in.
Well, Konami had canned it before Kojima left Konami. That we had already known. So I think that this is just an official, acknowledgement that look, the Silent Hill is done. I think that's just the series of the franchise as a whole is over.
Well, what do you now was Konami also doing Allison Road? Because this is just a spiritual successor. So
I actually don't know anything about that.
Yeah, because I was going to say that means that this doesn't necessarily have anything to do with Konami. And obviously we're going to have to wait.
I think Konami owns the IP for Silent Hill. So I would imagine that it would be developed through Konami.
Well, I don't know if this is just saying something about Konami or if it's saying something about the genre, because Silent Hill is a pretty widely praised, name.
It fell off.
Yeah. It hasn't a lot of stuff though.
Yeah.
The puns are salad. Keep it up.
Thanks, Lauro.
You know what's up.
Now here comes probably my favorite headline of the night. A Twitch user by the name of iNexus_ninja went around Twitch one week donating varied amounts of money ranging from $1,000 to $5,000 to random streamers.
Oh, how nice.
Apparently, this was simply step one in his master troll plan to wait 1 month, then demand chargebacks from PayPal, leaving the ecstatic streamers with crushed hopes and significantly less money in the bank. Thankfully, PayPal has taught the young man, 18 years old, an important lesson when they refused his request. It's reported that he apparently comes from a very wealthy family.
So what was the total?
$50,000 in total.
Oh! Oh!
He's pissed.
Oh, that makes me so happy.
First of all, rich or not, who lets their 18-year-old children just have free access to that much fucking money?
Oh, honey. Oh, honey. I come from a rich neighborhood, and that is totally reasonable. And the thing is
why
that they
probably fuck did this guy not come to our street?
Yeah, but that's true. But the thing is that not reasonable, but in their mind, it's reasonable, right? And the thing is that if I had to guess, this kid probably either his parents gave him a credit card or he jacked his parents' credit card to be able to do this. If he's 18, he doesn't have one of his own. He's probably not fucking around with his own money in his bank account. He's fucking around with their money. And he just blew $50,000 of it.
That is amazing.
Get wrecked, nerd.
Thank you. Sorry, what was your name again?
Get Shreked.
Get Shreked.
Anyway.
That's it for the news today.
All right. Well, if you'd like to call in and sound off about any of those articles, Final Encountercast on Skype, 810-207-1764. We'd love to see the phone calls come in. Or if you'd like to talk about E3, any of your predictions or memories from past E3s that you would like to share, Final Encountercast on Skype, 810-207-1764. We invite your calls live here on the show. If this is your first time joining us, hit follow like Dusty Demon Ninja just did. Thank you. That's what's up. Help this channel grow even more. And if you like what you hear, head on over to finalencountercast.com, where we've got a full archive of this show as well as our other show, Refresh, and coming soon, lbrnetwork.com. So we're fast approaching on E3. We've got a representative going out there.
That's right.
This year, which
You're
is
welcome, Kooky.
which is really exciting.
Yay, Cookie.
And I'm curious, what kind of expectations do you guys have surrounding E3? Because I mean, it was the biggest video game showcase of the entire year, which, I mean, PAX is starting to nibble away at that, and we've also got, private unveiling events.
I was going to say, to me, that's kind of what started to really take over a lot of the spotlight, the private ones.
Yeah, the Nintendo Directs, your Square Enix conferences, stuff like that.
I don't know if it's something that's just came, as I've grown older and more in tune with the industry, but for me, E3 was never like this big contest of companies. It was, for me, it was just like, all right, what cool headlines are coming out, this year, right? But I think it was not last E3, but was it the one prior to that where it was Sony who had basically crushed all of Microsoft's with all of their sudden
Sony
reveals.
Yeah, Sony came out and was just one-upping everything.
I think that was the first time where I really realized no, this is a boxing match between these different companies and stuff. Absolutely.
Yeah, and in the one sense, it does seem like a celebration of the best of gaming. But in another sense, especially and I think what it takes is it takes following the narrative of how games are released, how hardware is released, and if you're paying more attention, like you said, Robbie, to the industry, then and if you're taking your cues from the industry and what game companies have in the works and what they haven't talked about yet and the way that they talk about them and the sizzle reels, all of that, you're right, man. It totally is a boxing match. It's a competition. Who will win the day?
Who's got the biggest penis?
That's right.
Overall, I have no idea. I honestly, I'm not sure what to expect. I know that we kind of have some hints about the different things that are coming out. For me, I'm looking at it a little bit differently, and something that I've really been yearning for, which I made this realization just these past few days. There's a lot of stuff that I'm excited about, that I'm interested in, right? But there is nothing, not a single thing on the horizon that I'm really chomping at the bit for.
Really?
Right? Look, Mass Effect FF7, sure. Do I want to play them? Absolutely. But I haven't seen enough of them yet to really be fuck, I need to get my hands on that right now.
Really?
In fact, the thing that's even close to that is Pokemon Go, and that's not even really...
Yeah, but a lot of times and I don't know how often this happens to you. This does happen to me. Sometimes it's a new IP that does it, something that's completely new.
Sure.
I remember
when was the last time we had a new IP that was really good?
The
Overwatch.
Are you stuck? Is this camera frozen? His camera might be. Are you guys okay?
Stroke.
What's going on here? I'm terrified.
Okay.
Stop. Jesus. No, but I mean, Overwatch didn't get a big E3 bump, though.
But no, same thing even with Overwatch.
Hang on. I've got an answer for you. I've got an answer for Chris here.
Okay.
The last time I was super hyped out about a new IP that was announced at E3 was Dragon's Dogma. When Capcom announced Dragon's Dogma, I saw that and I was like, that is the shit. And everyone kind of wrote it off. No one else was hyped for it. And I bought that release day.
I have it. I played a little bit. Great game.
It's an awesome game.
But did it get much... I mean, after the fact, did it get much buzz? Or was it just kind of
It took until, I think, the DLC for people to really give it a shot. But, I mean, Dragon's Dogma did well. I think they're doing a sequel to it.
Oh, that's good.
So, there are times where I've been very hyped off of a new IP that's shown off at
Well,
at
I mean,
E3.
even with something like Overwatch, that's something that's been in the works now, and they've been teasing for at least 2 years, and it wasn't really until like the last month that I got hyped for it. Even Fallout 4, it wasn't until the week before that I got hyped for it.
Man, that's the way to do things, because waiting for something awesome to come out sucks.
Okay, sure, but still having that thing on the horizon and being able to get excited about it, that's something that you don't get a whole lot. And I want to get that way about Mass Effect 4, but they haven't really showed us anything concrete.
Also, you're not waiting on the resolution of a plot line. You're waiting on something entirely new. Andromeda is going to be something entirely new.
That's true. That's
true. If you had a plot line that you were waiting on, I think, if it was Mass Effect 2 and you were waiting on 3, you'd be like, I want to hear about Mass Effect.
That's
just
possible.
because you don't have a series
I want to hear about it.
Right.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah,
and I think what I want is, and from anything, it doesn't have to be about Mass Effect, I just want something out of E3 that when I look at it, I squeal in the same way that all those fucking
FF7
millennial FF7 toddler piece of shits did when the FF7 remake was announced.
Yeah.
I want to squeal like that, but for something legit.
So
why do you gotta talk about Nika like that?
Because she's stupid.
So rude.
She's dumb.
So, Chris, I think this one is aimed at you.
Okay.
Do you think that this will be the year Nintendo unveils new hardware?
Do I probably, because I'm pretty sure we've heard new stuff about
we talked about something recently in regards to the next Zelda that when it comes to Zelda and the new hardware, one would be released at the Nintendo Expo, whatever it's called, and then the other one would be talked about at E3. And weren't we trying to decide which it would make most sense for it to be where?
Right. And the thing is I can't remember if Nintendo came out and said that they're not going to do hardware this year at E3. So that may have been a statement that they made.
Really? And remember,
but I feel like we've heard so much about the NX recently that
not
they
even
would be
the NX. What about the last episode? We talked about
the handheld. I think
that's not a handheld.
That's not a handheld.
They're coming out with something that's not a handheld, but it's not a console.
Here's the thing. I think that handheld is actually just an extension of the NX. I think that they're going to announce the NX and that handheld at the exact same time.
That you play with your feet. It's a feet held. It's not a handheld.
Just
boo.
Stop.
Boo.
Stop with your bad puns, like the Division pun.
Your bads are any worse.
Your bad jokes are multiplying.
Throw something at you.
God damn it. So is this going to be the year, though? Is this the year of new Nintendo hardware?
God, I hope so, because the Wii U is just such a garbage system.
And they've basically said, we're done with the Wii U. We're not making games for it anymore.
All right. Here's my...
They have to be talking about the NX. They have to.
Here's my concern, though, because we're not going to hear anything about the next PlayStation or the next Xbox, right? Okay?
No, we know what we're going to hear about that, and it's the PlayStation 4.5. And we know what Microsoft has to say about that, because they've been like, oh yeah, we're totally going to release a new system. Fuck you, Sony. I hate the fact that you're making us release new hardware. Yeah, we're going to upgrade our console too. It's totally going to be awesome. We're going to be competitive, and fuck you, Sony.
Whenever Sony and Microsoft release their systems, because it's always a race, those two, right?
Absolutely.
There's always another company that has something that's released just before, and it always just gets blown into oblivion.
And
Dreamcast.
The first one out of the gate is always the worst one. It feels like.
There was the Dreamcast. There was the Wii. I didn't even realize that the Wii U was a new fucking system for the longest time.
We realize you're special, so it's okay. We forgive you.
Or the Wii was just that badly marketed.
You're not wrong.
Okay.
But you're
it was terrible. It was just a bad system. All around, it was a bad system.
Maybe
financially,
they're going to, showcase Zelda and then talk a little bit.
I'm sorry. They'll what? They'll do
showcase?
What?
Showcase.
They'll showcase it.
No, but the thing is that
they'll show it off a little bit.
Well, we already know that the new Zelda is going to be for the next system is
right,
and I feel like they have to talk about the system before they can talk about Zelda.
Sure.
Yeah.
And since Zelda is specific to your system, it also makes sense to talk about that at your specific expo.
Absolutely. Yeah, right. Absolutely. So, I really do. I want to see new hardware from Nintendo. It's time. Their old hardware is deader than a doornail. And, just Nintendo fanboys could use some love. We know that it's going to be a bit of a down year for Nintendo and Microsoft. We know that they're mostly going to be focusing on VR. And that's the other thing, is that with Sony and Microsoft focusing so heavily on VR, does that give Nintendo an ability to position itself against Sony and Microsoft by saying, look, we're innovative, but we're not going to fuck around with VR.
We're not that innovative.
But it is largely, like, not untested, but like the games for it are still very rudimentary. They're very much in development, and it's going to be like it's not going to be like
it's going to be Wii bowling.
Well, no, it's not going to be like hardware. As it gets older, you increase the textures and the polygon count and everything like that. This is an entirely new method of interacting with the game environment. Like, you have to appreciate that, and so it's going to take some very necessary growing pains for the medium to be able to take root and find its popularity, if it even does.
Yeah.
So with Sony and Microsoft really focusing on that aspect of the industry, does that give Nintendo an ability, a promotional ability, to position themselves as like, hey, we are focused on the games
and not VR?
Yeah.
I feel like whenever like a company tries to be super innovative with like the touch screen or motion controls, it always just falls flat on their face.
And I think what he's saying is, since Sony and Microsoft are focusing on something new,
instead of Nintendo trying to compete in that environment,
now Nintendo basically kind of slips into the void that needs to be filled now.
Yeah. I think so. I think
That'd
so.
be a good move.
It would be very smart from a promotional standpoint. I really do think Nintendo needs some goodwill. Nintendo just needs some love. The Wii U fell flat, and it's not that gamers have no love for Nintendo properties. It's that the hardware is such a pain in the dick to deal with. I would rather own any other system than a Nintendo system.
Actually, hold on.
I will buy a Xbox One needlessly before I would buy a
They're
Nintendo.
on sale right now for $299.
I know.
Really?
I heard that. I heard you say that. But the thing is, I mean, you can play. The crossover of games between Sony and Microsoft is huge, and this crossover between Nintendo and Sony and Microsoft put together is not so huge. You know what I mean? Like, it would make more sense. I would have more games available to me buying a Nintendo console. I don't want to buy a Nintendo console. I just don't.
Preaching to the choir.
So I'm looking at you.
You were saying something,
buddy?
Oh, right. I was going to say, I might be on board with VR because Mr. Jack brings up a really good point in the chat. He says there's already VR porn being made. Maybe VR has something going for it.
Apparently, VR porn might be shown off on the E3 floor. Kooky, we have a we know.
Kooky.
We know. Yeah, we know where you want to.
we have a priority listing for you.
That's right.
Yeah. Now, I want to know, for this VR porn, is there like accessories I can do for certain attachments?
Absolutely. Without a doubt. Absolutely. I can guarantee you that there is.
Okay, then I'm definitely on board.
Okay.
I shall rise to the occasion.
So, are there any expectations from Sony and Microsoft? Like,
Can't believe it's come to this.
Do you expect anything?
It was a long, hard road.
Oh, God. Are you done? Have you got it all out of your system?
I know it's getting a little bit hairy in here.
I don't know. There might be some left. No, I don't think I can squeeze any more out.
God damn it. There are, there are probably some expectations for Sony and Microsoft to show up on the hardware level. Do you guys have any expectations, or do you just think that we're going to see them show off what we know that they already have in development? See, now I think that this also puts Sony in a unique position, because the Vita fell very flat, and if Sony was going to revisit their handheld game, now would be a time to do it. Because the 3DS is almost at the end of its lifespan.
Yeah. Honestly, look, I'm not really looking forward to any kind of VR stuff. I haven't seen
I'm not either.
a whole lot of anything that's really been all that impressive.
No.
I mean, as far as like some of the immersive stuff, that's pretty cool. But when it comes to actual gameplay things, I don't know. I think it's going to still be a while before we get
What if
the same type of level out of those that we have out of our current stuff.
What if you could play Overwatch in VR?
But that's the thing. How
porn? Overwatch porn in VR.
Well, no, they're outlawing all the Overwatch porn. That's not...
Yeah. Oh, okay. They're outlawing it. Okay, I can't get it no more.
Blizzard's just gathering it all up for themselves.
They have a FAP room.
So I'm not really looking all that forward to the VR. And until you mentioned the idea of maybe them revisiting a handheld, I wasn't really looking forward to, I think, really anything specific from Microsoft or Sony. I mean, they can surprise me. Absolutely.
Well, now, I mean, Microsoft's never entered the handheld market.
That's true.
We've never seen any.
Do you think they might enter it?
No, I don't think.
Okay.
I don't think. But I do think that Sony might. I mean, man, I guarantee that they're still stung from the Vita. But the biggest problem with the Vita was from a development standpoint. That it was such a powerful system that the development requirements would take so much that it just wasn't worth developing solely for the Vita. And what I think would be interesting is if you can push hardware, mobile hardware, handheld hardware to the point where you wouldn't have to develop an entirely separate game, but you could in fact downscale current games in terms of texture and polygons and make it be able to be compatible on a handheld. I think that has some pretty compelling ideas right there. Sony seems like they would have the ability, or at least the hardware to be able to do that. Would they be able to manufacture it at a profit? I don't know. It would be really dicey for them to get back into the handheld market, especially not knowing what Nintendo's going to do next since they rule the fucker.
Yeah. It's really hard for me to get excited about specific hardware because it's always the games that sell me on stuff rather than the other way around. Yeah, exactly. I never really muddle around too much with that. So, when it comes to, what Microsoft's coming out with or the stuff that Sony's going to be talking about with the 4.5, I don't know. I can't really get behind any of that. But when it comes down to what possible games we might be seeing, that is what's going to sell me really one way or the other. Because honestly, up till right now, I have no desire to get an Xbox One or a PS4. There's no reason for it.
Yeah,
until FF7 comes out.
Nika was saying largely the same thing about the Vita last week, that there was never a title that compelled her to buy the system. So, I mean, what is a title that you could see being announced, or at least
the next Elder Scrolls?
Really?
Yeah,
that would push it.
I don't know if it would. Yeah, actually, yeah, it probably would. I mean,
that's surprising.
Skyrim was the first one that I really got into. I played Morrowind a little bit, Oblivion a tiny bit, but I wasn't really into those. And again, Skyrim was another one of those games where I got hyped and decided to buy it the day it came out.
Now, this is really particular for me. I'm very curious about this. Why specifically would that make you buy a console? Is there a difference in what you've played of the Elder Scrolls? Do you feel like there's a difference between the experience on a console and the experience on a PC? Because
right, no, it's on PC. Fuck the console. Never mind.
I was going to say, because Fallout 4 did that. It moved console units, and I do think that an Elder Scrolls game would move console units, but with everything being on PC as well.
Let me rephrase. That's something that I would get, I think, hyped for.
It's a title that you would get hyped for.
Yes, that, but it's not going to necessarily move me to buy hardware.
Okay. All right, gotcha. Well, what is there an exclusive? Let's say if there was a title that was an exclusive.
Mass Effect is only on PS4.
Yeah, Mass Effect.
Is that true?
I don't think it's true.
No, I'm just hypothetically.
Is there a Mass Effect? Obviously, FF7 remake, Kingdom Hearts 3.
Really? You would?
Look,
Kingdom Hearts,
I'm not into any of that ancillary stuff. As far as I'm concerned, none of that exists. The only thing in my mind is Kingdom Hearts 1 and Kingdom Hearts 2. And I had a lot of fun with both of those. So, Kingdom Hearts 1, 2, and 3 is the next one. None of the shit matters.
I've heard that the Final Fantasy VII remake has a lot in common with Kingdom Hearts. Maybe you'll actually end up liking that a lot more than you think.
If I do, then awesome. If I don't, then I told you, motherfuckers.
So just kind of going back to the Chrono Trigger thing, like that's a game that I feel like it would lose something by adding any kind of a different battle system. And I think I said the same thing about FF7 for years, But the thing that's always that sort of like has been the justifiable reason to me to going back and doing FF7 is that even for the hardware on the PlayStation and compared to the other games in its contemporaries,
it was shitty for its time.
Its contemporaries, yeah.
That's actually one of the reasons why I advocate against it, because it had less going for it visually than competition at the time and still blew them out of the water.
Right, yeah. Chrono Trigger, you can't say that, though, because even for its time, it was visually stunning, and it still today looks
there was a headline that I actually thought that I had left in there, but I Am Setsuna got a release date, and that's supposed to be like a spiritual...
a spiritual successor to Chrono Trigger.
With that. Yeah. Are you hyped for that? Are you excited?
I am.
It looks gorgeous.
I am. I would be way more excited about it if it was coming out on Vita. I don't know if
is it PC only?
I think
I know it's on Steam.
I don't know. See, that's the thing is I don't know what platforms it's coming out on. I'd love... See, the thing about indie games, and especially like stuff like Undertale, I would fucking kill for the opportunity to play that on my Vita. I have a tough time sitting down and playing it on my PC.
Yeah.
You know, when I sit down in front of my PC, I'm like, I want to play an MMO. I want to play, something that my graphics card can really pound on. You know, like that. That to me is what I want out of a PC experience, or what I expect when I sit down in front of my PC. That's not to take away anything from Undertale, and I know it's a great game. Everything I've heard about it tells me that it's a great game. I haven't played it because I really feel like the experience would be better on a handheld, and I've sort of been holding out hope for it. And if it never happens, I probably will end up playing it on PC.
It's never gonna happen.
I know it's never gonna happen, and actually the errors and stuff like that is pretty much.
I will never, ever, ever touch Undertale.
That's terrible.
But that's why.
Oh,
because of how it makes him feel,
and
because how it's going to make people in the chat feel.
Well, but the other thing is I mean, all of these sort of like indie games or lo-fi games, sprite-based games, I really feel like they're missing an opportunity on hardware like the Vita. Some of them have taken the opportunity and they've been great. Not Retro City Rampage. What's the other one that's sort of like that?
Miami Vice.
No, Hotline Miami.
That's what I meant. Yeah, Hotline Miami. Miami Vice.
That is... Dude, I've plugged hours into that on my Vita, and it's a great experience on the Vita. Would never play that on my PC, ever, in a million years. So, if more... I really hope that more games, and especially AAA studios that are developing stuff like that, because I Am Setsuna is coming out of Square Enix, I'm pretty sure.
I am actually surprised by the fact that there are a lot of games, like you said, sprite-based ones. When I'm like going through on my Steam queue list and adding stuff to my wish list or saying not interested, sprite-based games a lot of the times are an absolute just like no for me. But at the same time, there are certain like but at the same time, some of the ones that I immediately gravitate to are like sprite-based JRPGs of yore.
Yes,
like I Am Setsuna, for example. I would play that on the PC.
Yeah,
being able to play that like while simultaneously like watching Netflix or porn or something, like doing other things as I play it. That's one of the things that I've been yearning for the most, is a game that I am able to play that I don't have to give 100% focused attention to. You look away for a second while you're playing.
You know what's good for
Overwatch? What?
You know what's good for that?
What?
Turn-based role-playing games.
Oh, kind of like the game that I'm playing right now that I'm having a lot of fun with. Final Fantasy X? Yeah, maybe there is something to be said about turn-based gaming, Nika.
Maybe there is.
I believe I've heard a rumor that turn-based role-playing games are dead and that no one would play them
Really?
anymore.
Who'd you hear that from?
I can't remember, but the scuttlebutt says that they are dead. Confirmed/denied?
I bet it was a girl.
Okay, all right. Hang on. I just want to. I did look up I Am Setsuna while we were sitting here. It is confirmed for PlayStation 4 and PC. It does list PlayStation Vita, although I believe that it's only listed in for PlayStation Vita in Japan currently.
Is it Square Enix though?
It is Square Enix, so there is a good chance that they'll bring it over to the US if it sells well. I will definitely buy this for PlayStation 4.
Maybe this is the test for if they're going to remake Chrono Trigger.
I like the fact that it's a completely separate game.
Well, yeah, obviously.
And also that comes out on July 19th.
That's soon.
That's very soon.
So you guys go take a look at my Steam wish list.
Yeah. So
and toss it my way.
I am pretty excited to end up playing that finally. And then what companies are you excited to hear from at E3? Because there's a couple of different ways that we get to interact with companies. There's their booth showings.
I'm sorry. Apple Nectar, shut the fuck up. Kingdom Hearts MMO. I'm
boo. So there's a couple of ways that we interact with game companies at E3. Of course, the primary being being at the showroom floor, at the booths themselves, being able to try hands-on demos. But then the ones that everyone gets access to, and that oftentimes get the most hype, are the big stage presentations. Of course, we see those from the big three: Microsoft, Nintendo, and Sony. But we've also got presentations coming from Ubisoft, Bethesda, and a few others. I feel like
Rockstar?
there were. I don't remember. I'll look it up.
So.
I'll look it up here in a second. But what companies are you excited to hear from the most?
Well, we're supposed to be getting Andromeda in 2017, so I'm hoping that we actually see something real, something tangible of the game itself, because up till now it's been screenshots of like landscapes, and then there's that trailer of someone in the N7 suit getting out of a cockpit and walking towards the camera,
right,
and looking out over a landscape. There hasn't actually been anything concrete to let us know at all what this game is going to be like, and because it has none of the original BioWare team that was on any of the original Mass Effects, I could honestly go either way on it. It could be that I might end up not buying this at all if it looks
interesting.
Yeah. So
the company that I was trying to think of that I couldn't name was EA. So we'll have presentations starting off on the 12th from EA at 1 p.m. Bethesda will also be presenting on the 12th at 7 p.m. On the 13th, we'll see presentations from Microsoft, Ubisoft, and Sony. And closing out the weekend on Sunday, we'll see a presentation from Nintendo starting at 9 a.m. So those are the those are the big press conferences. The chat lit up. I saw that they're excited for Atlas to be announcing details for Persona 5. Obviously, Atlas not taking the stage, but we do see smaller developers taking the stage with as a part of one of the big three. So we will see obviously statements from Square Enix. Hopefully, we'll see someone from Atlas come out and say something.
People are also saying CD Projekt Red, which that's the Witcher people.
That
right?
is the Witcher.
Yeah, their new one, Cyberpunk 2077.
Yeah, they're working on a whole new IP, so we'll be excited to see anything about that. I mean, I'll be surprised to see anything in terms of gameplay. I would expect to see much more of just a teaser trailer.
Apple, the last time that Square mentioned that they were working on an MMO that was not FF related, it was FF14. Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah. So FF16 confirmed.
Okay. Yay.
Elder Scrolls. We know that there's another Elder Scrolls in work or in the works.
There's
right?
always an Elder Scrolls in the.
On one of the recent shows, we talked about a headline that mentioned it, didn't we?
Did we? I don't think we did.
In the fact that I think we thought that was maybe taking us back someplace?
No. The headline that we had was that there was footage leaked of a PSP title that took us to multiple regions.
I gotcha.
So, no, I don't think that's going to be it. So, okay, yeah, an Elder Scrolls announcement. Bethesda's going to be making a significant showing. We did just get an entry into the Fallout franchise. I think it would be safe to say that we're due for another Elder Scrolls title.
Well, yeah, plus, since you brought up the Fallout thing as well, the DLC we've gotten so far has been huge.
Awesome.
And it's just within the
have you played Far Harbor?
Not yet.
Oh, okay.
Not yet. But I mean, huge. And it's still within the first 5 or 6 months that it's been released. And obviously when it comes to DLC, these companies support these games for several years. So while Fallout may not necessarily be a big speaking point of them, it would be cool to see more of their DLC plans announced.
But the thing is that we already know how, there's not much more DLC planned for Fallout 4.
That they've spoke of.
No, they have said that there's that there's only going to be so much for Fallout 4.
Right.
So, I mean,
well, remember they're making people pay $60 for it, and the current combined total of all three is like $50.
Right. So, I mean,
they have to at least have another 3 planned.
But there's got to be something else.
Oh no, I'm sure. Yeah, but
they're doing an entire stage presentation. So
yeah, I'm gonna put my money on Elder Scrolls then.
Elder Scrolls. So where do we? Does anyone want to take bets on where we're going this time?
I don't know enough about the land masses and the lore to do that. Skyrim was the first one that I really got into, and that was how many years ago now?
6.
It's been a while.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Asgard?
Shut up.
I mean, we've been to.
Is that the entire map, like the world?
Yeah. So we've been to Cyrodiil. We've been to
Hammerfall, right?
No, we haven't been to Hammerfall.
That was one of like the original ones.
No, can you actually get on a goddamn microphone, please? Jesus.
I'm trying to see the
This
map.
is a fucking radio show, and you're just talking into fucking.
They can hear me.
You and yet you've got 2 screens in front of you that you could just pull this up on, and you just choose not to.
Tablets are dumb.
I mean, we've never seen anything of any of these southern continents. The Valenwood, elsewhere, Black Marsh.
I don't want to go to a.
Oh, let's go to Black Marsh.
Forest.
Yeah. That sounds really cool.
It does actually.
Black Marsh is the Argonian homeland.
Oh, never mind. I hate
Argonian?
those guys. They're lizard people.
Elsewhere is the Khajiit homeland.
What's the island over there?
Khajiit has wares for you?
Well, the Somerset Isles we actually did visit we visited that in the DLC for Oblivion. Hammerfell, I take that back. We have seen that in, we saw it in Arena. We've seen technically everywhere in Arena, but we also did see it in the Elder Scrolls spin-off game. There was like an adventure type title that was set in Hammerfell that wasn't any good and nobody thinks about. So
you've already been this. You don't need to go back there.
Dusty Demon Ninja says Hammerfell was the original one, you filthy casual. Well, then, maybe it's time to make a return, because Hammerfell and I think High Rock are 2 that interest me the most, just based on names.
High Rock was the second game. That was Daggerfell.
Oh, well, see, there you go. Let's go back to our roots.
But I would like to, like High Rock, I wouldn't mind revisiting. Morrowind, we only adventured on Vardenfell. We never adventured on the Morrowind mainland. And only some of these areas we've seen fleshed out in the in Elder Scrolls Online. I don't think we've seen Valenwood, Elsewhere, or Black Marsh even represented in Elder Scrolls Online. So I feel like those are the most the most ripe areas
God, I hate the lizard people.
To go.
They're so ugly
to go to.
Isn't there a cat person?
Yes, that's the Khajiit. They're ugly too,
and they're from Elsewhere.
Let's go to Elsewhere.
Yeah,
that's the name of the place. Isn't that somewhere else?
Elsewhere.
Somewhere else.
No, Elsewhere.
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 Where else could they be from?
There's a Y in there too.
There's a Y?
ELSWEYR.
Why would there be a Y?
Because that's how it's spelled.
Wow.
Okay.
That was a good try.
That ran out of steam. Anyway, so I don't know. I would even love to see one set in Hammerfell, although Hammerfell is mostly a desert continent, and I feel like that would also get boring.
Yeah.
So Elsewhere seems like a pretty good guess. Valenwood, which is I think the home of the High Elves, would also be I think a pretty awesome place to visit. So I'm very interested in the idea of a new Elder Scrolls game, and Bethesda making such a huge showing. I think that is a pretty good guess. Is there anything else that you guys would think Bethesda would have in the works that they could surprise us with?
Well, unless it's a new IP, what else do they got?
If they are going to come out with new Fallout 4 content, they might give us a sneak peek and say it comes out around Christmas. I mean, that would boost sales around that time.
Yeah, but again, it's not going to be like their main reason for going up there.
Not true.
Yeah. Main reason's got to be Elder Scrolls.
Yeah.
It's got to be.
That's where I put my money.
Yeah. I mean, I'd love to see something new in development from Bethesda. We haven't seen something new from them since they acquired the Fallout franchise. So.
What if they add a new Wolfenstein game? That'd go well with the new Doom game. And they could combine the two. It'd be like Doom versus Wolfenstein.
Can we start buying something that we can throw at him when he makes comments like this?
Hang on. Did Bethesda buy id? Is that where id ended up? I can't remember.
Oh, I have no idea, man. I don't remember.
Because that joke may have validity.
What?
Your joke might have actually been a real thing.
What do you mean?
Yeah, its parent organization is ZeniMax.
Wow.
Okay. I didn't get that joke because I didn't realize that ZeniMax had bought id.
Because it was supposed to be a joke. It was supposed to be him being an idiot troll.
No, I looked up Bethesda games on Google, and Wolfenstein: The New Order was there for 2014, so I just combined the two.
Oh.
See, I'm smarter than I look.
Gotcha.
Sometimes.
Let's go to our phone lines here. We're gonna talk to Evil Lives. What's going on, Evil? How you doing? Thanks for calling Final Encountercast.
Hey, I just wanted to give you a splash of cold water there. Todd Howard has already said that we're not going to hear anything for Elder Scrolls for a while.
Really? So what do you think that they're going to go up there and announce? I mean, they're doing a keynote speech.
Well, they have a lot of properties that they haven't done anything with. They own Prey, which for a while, remember, they were working on Prey 2 for a while. And it died.
No. Yeah. Did you play the original Prey?
Yeah, I wasn't happy with it.
Nobody was. That was an abysmal game.
It is the age of remakes.
Ooh.
I mean, they do have Dishonored 2. I mean, they're trying to push that.
Okay. All right. That's a property that I forgot.
Yep.
But we've already seen trailers for this at either another game show or last year's E3.
So it kind of seems like doing it again would be a little bit of a waste of potential.
No, I think they'll show off gameplay. But am I wrong, or am I imagining or mixing up with Assassin's Creed that there is a female protagonist for the second Dishonored?
There is.
Yes. Okay. Good. All right. I'm not crazy, and I am remembering that. Okay. So yeah, we could see Dishonored from them. What else do they have?
Bethesda themselves, like the development studio, really only has Fallout and the Elder Scrolls games.
Yeah. And then
that's all they've made for the last 20 years.
And they've absorbed some other studios like id. Who else have they absorbed? Anyone else?
Arcane Studios, who makes Dishonored.
Okay. Yeah.
Kind of limits, unless it's a new IP that really limits what they're going to show off.
They also own that company that the Resident Evil creator was in. I can't remember.
Yeah, they made that. What is it? What is that game? I remember a lot of people talking about it, and then nobody talking about it after it came out.
It wasn't very good.
Spore.
No, it was like what is it?
It's EA.
What is? I don't remember that game. But it was like it was trying to be one of the horror titles and continue on in the vein of Resident Evil, do a lot of body horror type stuff, and it was not very good. The Evil Inside?
Evil Within?
Evil Within, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Red XO.
Okay, so we could see an IP from them. I still, even though they've denied Elder Scrolls, I just don't know how they'll be able to fill up time without.
Yeah, I'm still putting my money on it.
Yeah. We'll see.
I mean, it also goes against their tradition. Since Morrowind, they've followed the tradition of they announce a game and they release it in 6 months. I mean, they've done it with Fallout 3 and pretty much everything.
All right, maybe it's ready.
I mean, it's been a while since Skyrim, and we know that they
just because they say that they don't have anything planned, and then if they come out and announce it, hype's gonna explode.
Yeah. I mean that it's a way to tamp down the hype.
They could also do what they did with New Vegas and announce another company's gonna be making a Fallout game.
You know what? New Vegas did come pretty closely on the heels.
You're right.
Of 3.
You're right. They could be just repurposing the engine for that.
Yeah,
it was 2 years later.
Yeah, maybe not necessarily more DLC for Fallout 4, but what if they came out with some type of add-on?
You know what? Chris is right. Fallout came out this fucking year.
I know.
That would be really soon.
I know.
That would be almost too soon. I would think.
I agree.
Anyway, Evil, thanks for the call, man. We appreciate the perspective and the reminder of what IPs Bethesda owns. So appreciate the call. If you want to call Final Encountercast, that's Final Encountercast on Skype, 810-207-1764. What do you want to see at E3? What are your big hopes and dreams for the future of video gaming? Do you guys have any? I don't know. Do you guys have any standout announcements from E3s in the past that?
Do we want to talk about like favorite E3 moments?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. I'm gonna surprise everybody here.
Okay.
Now, I would like to point out that favorite. Whoa! I am holy
neon.
shit. Whoa! What happened? I am like Zeusing over here. I don't know how to fix this. All right. I would like to start this out by saying that favorite doesn't necessarily mean best. That's what I'm looking forward to. But the announcement that I think caused the most
turmoil,
the most
emotion.
Well, okay, that's part of it. But reaction, just the most reaction.
Okay.
Gizma.
The Final Fantasy VII announcement last year. That was so huge. Like, I remember I was playing, I think, just FF14, and I think it was Chris was the one who came in and was like, "Oh, do you see?
I wanted to be your first."
And like there, and right away there were like so many reaction videos. And
Bethesda is a smaller studio that takes their time with games. We are about 4 to 5 years for S6.
No, we'll see. We'll see, Escape Death.
We shall see.
Yeah, so like I mean, it was everywhere, and there was part of me that knew, like, look at all this hype. Come on, you should be hyped too. But my brain was like, brain and heart was like, no. And there's so much internal struggle and conflict
and turmoil.
Yes, fine, turmoil. I was Anakin standing on the precipice of the dark side. Okay. And I had to fight against it.
You were the chosen one!
So yeah, if I had to pick...
You'll not take her from me!
I've got the high ground! Don't forget I have the high ground!
So if I had to pick a moment that stands out in my mind from all E3's past, it was the fact that Final Fantasy VII was announced as a remake.
I feel
after so many years of Square Enix saying, no.
I feel like that you're just cherry picking because it's the only one you remember.
No, because when you had actually first was like, hey, maybe we should do this, favorite moments.
Yeah.
That was the first thing that popped in my head, but I'm like, oh, but was that actually announced at E3? And it wasn't until Kooky was kind enough to actually...
My favorite E3 moment was when the Microsoft guy came out with the Halo 3 tattoo.
Okay.
That was my favorite E3 moment because it was like, look at this fucking dumbass. He's going to have to live with this tattoo. But I think his name's Steve Ballmer. That guy, what a fucking moron. And every time he would come out on stage, he would be like, oh, it was like watching George W. Bush speak. You know, like, what is he going to fuck up this time? And he would just get over-enthused about shit. And, his big boneheaded movie came out with a Halo 3 tattoo. And just everyone's reaction was like, why?
I don't think I remember seeing that. Where was the tattoo at?
It was like on his arm.
So what, he just walked onto the stage and was like, hey guys.
Rolled up his sleeves. Let's get down to business.
Hey ladies.
And why would it, like, what was the tattoo of? It was
the logo.
The logo that said Halo 3? Because you know they're going to add more Halos.
Maybe it wasn't Steve Ballmer. Who was it? Who got the Halo tattoo to reveal?
Like, I could see maybe the Halo logo, but Halo 3? Logo. How low can he go?
Go low.
It was Peter Moore that got the tattoo. I think that's it. It was in 2004 that this happened. Let me see. We've even got the video.
Oh, good. Oh, good.
After a long fight, our colonial defense has failed. And the Covenant have made their way to Earth.
You fucking nerd.
Today's mission takes place 20 clicks north of the Covenant's primary point of incursion.
This hurts me.
In an abandoned township.
It's like role-playing. He's fucking role-playing. That's what he's doing right now. Halo 3. Get out of here with the shit.
All right, so yeah, I mean, you've got the basic presentation there. Hang on, let me see if I could find the part with the tattoo. 'Cause the tattoo was silly.
Was it a bad tattoo?
No, what it was he had the release date. That's what it was. The release date.
There's no way that tattoo was real then.
I want to say that it was.
Why would you tattoo the release date on
Was it the release? God, no.
Did he lose like an office bet or something?
Did somebody raise $5,000 before him?
Yeah, because clearly, yeah.
The way that dude's standing, I feel like it's not actually on his arm; it's on his chest, and you're just gonna rip his shirt off.
All right, here it is. This is after they've shown off the game.
Excited to get it into your guys' hands, and the good news is, we're pretty damn close. Thanks, Peter.
Thank you, Joe. Love you too, man. It's in stone. Well, actually, that's not the only place it's in. You know, Jenny was checking out my guns earlier on when we were on video chat there. And
See how stupid this is. It's my favorite moment.
But now I can tell you. So I go out with the sales guys last Saturday night. You know how they
Oh, just Saturday night. He just said it.
Well, after a number of drinks, I dropped the bomb on them. Said, guys, we got a release date on Halo 2. And we
That's what I. Okay, all right. At least I am remembering this at least somewhat well.
I believe that the day I tattooed that on my arm. Skeptical bunch. Well, fellas, I got your release date.
Terrible.
Right here.
Terrible. It's is that bad?
It's like you got it from the back alley of some place.
Wow.
Isn't that terrible?
It's a terrible way to announce that.
And yes, that is 2004.
I would have been like, look under your seats for the release date. But then every single seat has a different date on it.
Look at this tattoo on my arm.
Oh God, yeah.
It's Sharpie.
Well, now I remember why I thought it was Steve Ballmer, because that guy's a fucking idiot.
You know what? Anyway. I bet it's just henna. That fucking poser.
Yeah, it does. Even in the video, it looks like pen. So anyway, that's that. I think that's among one of my favorite E3 moments. Or the one that you mentioned earlier, when Sony would just came
stomping Microsoft
again and again and again, and it was like they had tailor-made their program to respond to Microsoft, which was the best thing.
Well, because it even surprised me, because the months leading up to it, they're like, no backwards compatibility, none of this, none of this, none of this. And it's like they were both on the same page, and then they finally get there, and Sony's like, "Oh, you thought we were telling the truth? Fuck you guys."
Yeah. It was a pretty good one. How about you, Chris? Favorite Nintendo E3 moments?
Well,
he doesn't know. He doesn't know at all.
It's not like a really specific time, but basically, I remember that there was
Virtual Boy.
There was one E3 where I was so
Game Boy
excited
Color.
because everyone was just saying how Nintendo actually won E3, and that was unheard of for me before. So like,
what year was that?
2014, apparently.
What?
I don't know. I mean, I don't remember anything about it. I don't remember any of the games.
Was that the year that only Nintendo showed up to E3?
It might have been.
I don't.
No, I feel like it.
So what happened in 2014?
Hold on. I feel like it had to happen sometime either in college or high school, because.
Do you know what they won with?
No. It's just like a whole bunch of new IP, or not new IPs, but old IPs coming back, like the Donkey Kong
I remember this. This was when they made they made a big nostalgia play and brought back a lot of like Kid Icarus was in there.
Yes.
And
like new Super Mario Brothers.
I think 2014 is
No, that's completely wrong.
Was this when Melee came out then?
I think it might have
been around that time, yeah.
Yeah, because it would have been the best time to reintroduce a lot of them.
No, it had to be around Brawl.
Yeah, sorry, that's what I meant.
Brawl. Okay,
yes,
all right,
because they had Kid Icarus and Brawl, right? And they had a lot of those a lot of the
old Nintendo,
like
from the actual Nintendo come back and stuff. And that's like the only time I ever like heard people online saying how Nintendo actually won E3. So that's the only E3 moment I have, is when Nintendo actually won, and it was kind of pretty much consensus on the internet that Nintendo won once.
Now, was it actual consensus, or was the bubble just more vocal than the rest of the internet?
It was pretty consensus, like around like GameStop and IGN, or GameSpot, sorry.
Really? I mean, I do see this article that Kooky linked in the chat, and I don't know
why Nintendo won.
That's 2014.
Yeah, yeah. This does
When
cite
did Brawl come out?
2014, and I just don't.
You don't see anything in there that's really...
No, I really don't. But I do remember what you're talking about, Chris. I do remember that there was a year where Nintendo played hard to the nostalgia crowd, and a lot of people walked away saying that Nintendo had the strongest showing. And I want to say that it was in college. I want to say that that was solidly in college when that happened, because I do remember this.
2005?
That sounds way more dead on than 2014.
Looks like there was also some kind of Metroid game that came out too. Let me see. Hold on.
Well, yeah, the Metroid game unseen, unplayed.
Are you sure? Because there are a lot of stuff mentioned in this article that have done well. I mean, Splatoon, that had the video game
that's
rewards.
it's not to take anything away from
isn't the one
Nintendo.
That you were thinking about.
Yeah, I know I know specifically what Chris is talking about, and yeah, this is it's different. It was way earlier, and it was definitely when we were in college.
Our first look at the revolution.
Oh no.
Yeah.
The revolution.
Gosh.
Oh, codename Dolphin. Anyway, so yeah, I think that's gonna do it for Limit Break Radio.
Excuse me.
Final Encountercast. Wow.
It's the heat.
Yeah, it really is. Like, all I can think about is walking out of this room and being able to breathe again. Anyway, yeah, so that's going to be it for Final Encountercast. I want to thank you guys for hanging out with us on this Sunday afternoon. If you like the show, hit that follow button. Hang out with us as we do this show each and every single Sunday starting at 5 here on twitch.tv/Final Encountercast. Be sure, if you are a fan of LBR or FEC, be sure to stay tuned. Coming up next over at our sister channel, twitch.tv/Limit Break Radio, the post show with Pops and Kooky is going to be going down, talking about everything that we talked about here on Limit Break Radio and Final Encountercast today. And of course, if you are a fan of Final Encountercast, remember that this show is done through the support of our main podcast, our flagship show, Limit Break Radio. So if you want to support the programming on this show, head on over to patreon.com/Limit Break Radio and consider giving just a little bit a month to help us continue to fund this program and continue to expand our content. We would love you if you did. And also, head over to iTunes. We've had our review cherry broken. I want to thank the 3 people that have reviewed us so far on iTunes. We'd love to see more, and we'd love to read a gaggle of reviews the next time that we sit down to do the show. So head on over to iTunes, leave a review for Final Encountercast. You can find that by searching Final Encountercast on iTunes. Please do. It helps other people find the show, and we really do want other people to find the show. Shout out to Alamo City Comic-Con, who just announced David Tennant as one of their guests for Alamo City. And remember, Final Encountercast and Limit Break Radio are going to be out at Alamo City Comic-Con, and we're going to be announcing something big out there. So get hyped, guys. Check that out at almocitycomiccon.com. That's going to do it for Final Encountercast. I want to thank Callie and Nika, who couldn't join us today.
Thank you so much.
Especially because I forgot to thank Nika on the last episode. But also,
for sexist reasons.
Shout out to my crew, Kooky, the Firewall Persona, hanging out, manning the phone lines, and taking your calls, and Robbie, Len, and Christoph. My name's Nate. Be sure to tune in next time to Final Encountercast. Have a great one. See you later. Final Encountercast is a production of FinalEncountercast.com, Limit Break Radio, and Bender Media Productions. Today's episode was produced by Nate Bender, Robbie Landis, and Kooky Persona. This show is made possible by the generous Patreon donors of the podcast Limit Break Radio. Opening music provided by Keyboard Kid. More info and music can be found at keyboardkid206.bandcamp.com. Closing music provided by Sobsy. For more info, visit sobsy.bandcamp.com. For links to articles mentioned on this show, check out our live blog at FinalEncountercast.com. Final Encountercast and its hosts are solely responsible for its content.